We are going over the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors for you folks today. In this video, we're going to be breaking it all down here. Rookies reported for training camp. We're going to get into that. Terrion Arnold spoke. I think it's funny. A lot of injury news and updates. Who's on the PUP list, all that type of stuff. 53-man roster projection. This video is full. Let's go. Right now, training camp is on its way, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 66,200 so you don't miss out on the latest Detroit Lions news, and that's happening like all the time right now since, training camp is here. Again, we're going to go over everything that is the latest for our Lions. And to start off with, the conditioning test apparently was tough for Terrion Arnold. The conditioning test was no joke, Arnold revealed on TikTok. These boys really trying to win a Super Bowl this year. I tell y'all that, and I'm in shape. Now, you need to go on TikTok, or you could just go on any website, see the video that Terrion Arnold did. You're going to say, oh no, he's a wimp. Not necessarily. He went and talked to other players like Ennis, Rakestraw, and Hooker, and look, their conditioning, everything is got to be top-notch. It's got to be tiring. That's what it's about, right? Like, we want these guys to be prepared for an NFL season. These rookies, they're used to college. They're not used to the amount of games and the physicality in the NFL, so it's going to be a little bit tough for these guys. But look, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. We're ready for training camp, and these guys are going to get the job done right. And I tell you what, Terrion Arnold, we get to see what training camp folds for this rookie here in the next day. Again, subscribe to the channel. We are now basically in training camp, and the news is going to be off the chains every single day. Now, let's get into some injuries here. On Sunday, the Detroit Lions announced that 4 players have been placed on the injury list prior to training camp. Defensive backs Brian Branch, defensive lineman DJ Reader, and Marcus Davenport all have been placed on the physically unable to perform the PUP list. Meanwhile, rookie offensive tackle Giovanni Manu has been placed on the non-football injury list. Now you're going to say, oh man, this is already a bad way to start out training camp. Pretty much we knew about these injuries here. We're going to start with DJ Reader here. As expected, he was going to begin on the PUP list regardless. When we signed him in free agency, folks, he was dealing with a torn quadriceps that he had as a Cincinnati Bengal. We knew that when we signed him, and so he's still living up. He's still trying to rehab from the injuries on the PUP list. Now, look, I don't think we need to worry about this man right here. Why do I say that? Because he is a veteran that's been in the game for a while. His job is stopping the run while getting to the quarterback, and it's pretty easy to do what he does. He's just a big space eater, so I'm not worried about him missing training camp time. He is a veteran. He knows the game. He knows his job very, very well. I enjoy going to a Tigers game. Last time I did, I purchased the tickets on MLB.com. That was a mistake because I paid higher prices for it, and it took a long process just to get a freaking ticket. So don't do what I did. Make sure you get Game Time. They have killer deals, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed, and you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. It is easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event. Whether that's concerts, comedy shows, sports, or whatever, their lowest price is guaranteed. That's the Game Time guaranteed, which means you always get the best prices. If you find tickets in the same area section or less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. In the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of the app. It shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the surrounding area, kind of like a 3D live photo. It's real easy. So you go to Game Time on your phone, plug in Chat Sports, get $20 off your very first purchase. Again, you go to the redeem code section, plug in Chat Sports, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms would apply. Got to create an account. You got to have an email. to get that savings. The link is going to be in the comment section and description of this video. If you're buying sports tickets or any tickets this year, make sure using Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. Well, he's not the only veteran that is dealing with injuries as well. Another player whom we signed in free agency is on the PUP list, and that is Marcus Davenport. He signed a one-year deal with the Lions this spring, was limited to 4 games with the Minnesota Vikings last season by an ankle injury that required surgery. We knew this again when we signed him. He had the ankle injury from the Minnesota Vikings, and so he's starting in the PUP right now. And again, I'm not too worried about this. This is something that we already knew from Marcus Davenport, that he was going to be on the PUP list. And again, he is a veteran. With that said, I would probably put the worry scale a little bit higher than a DJ Reader, just because DJ Reader is more of the plugging of the middle of the field. And we've had issues at edge, not in the interior of defensive line. So that's something that we're going to be monitoring here going forward with Marcus Davenport. But it's going to give opportunities for other players like Joshua Pascal and John Kaminsky, the rest of the defensive line, to get it done. So I got a question for you. What concern level do you have for the Lions' injuries right now? 1, if you're not concerned at all. 10, if you're extremely concerned. The next injury here, folks, is Brian Branch, and he had surgery on the injured ankle this offseason. Again, we understood what was taking place for this player here. When I look at Brian Branch, I'm not concerned. It was not a big, first off, it was just a cleanup for the ankle. So, yeah, he started on the PUP. He's going to be back on the field, I would say, relatively soon for training camp. I don't think it's going to last into preseason week 3 or anything like that. And he's a really good player, so I think this one is a minor injury. We're talking about a cleanup. Now, I personally have had cleanups before, and it's not that significant of a issue. It really is not. So, look, he should be good to go at some point when he is healthy for the Lions. Next player here that is not practicing is Giovanni Manu. This is an individual who we drafted this past season. Manu, undisclosed, was placed on the active non-football injury list on Sunday. So he got injured, but it was not football. So we don't know what the injury is for Giovanni Manu. Now, yeah, it does suck that you get a young player who needs all the reps in the world because he is really, really raw. With that said, I look at Manu, and I'm not too worried about it because he is a project player like a Broderick Martin. He's probably not going to see any playing time this year. So, yeah, you want to get the reps, but at the same time, it doesn't affect really too much the roles of, like, in a game time, right? Because you're not going to see him. So he has time to heal up a little bit. With all the injuries, I am definitely really not too concerned about it. I'm really not. Now, I wanted to talk a bit about the Pride of Detroit's 53-man roster projection that they got going on here, and I have not seen the list, but I'm doing it right now. They have Jared Goff making it. Yes, Hendon Hooker backup. I agree. Nate Sudfeld is out. I think that is 110% correct. Don't need to go on here. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki. Okay, good to go. All 4 of them make it, and I agree with the 3 not making it here. They got Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Antoine Green, Khalif Raymond, Donovan Peoples-Jones. So they're going to 5 wide receivers here. They could go 5 or 6. If you're going to go 6, I would put Darius Fountain on this list. Other than that, if they do 5, I agree that would be the 5 players. Tight end here, they got Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, James Mitchell, Shane Zylstra. I disagree. I don't think James Mitchell is going to make the 53-man roster. Maybe they'll go with a wide receiver 6 instead. We just talked about that above. That is, right. The Lions, they could go 6 receivers instead of just 5. Let's get into the next one here. Offensive tackle. They got Dan Skip, or for the Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, Colby Sorsdale, Giovanni Manu. Dan Skipper not making it. I'm going to put Dan Skipper on this list here. Again, I think he does make it because Manu is not ready to be a backup tackle to be in an NFL game right at this moment. So I think Skip gets in there for that. And look, I don't Skipper and Corby Sorsdale, they're your backup tackles. Sorsdale's kind of learning a little bit. He did it in college, then he was guard, and then he's kind of learned it. But then Skipper has a lot of experience, and he's an extra offensive lineman. Again, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, trying to get to 66,200 subscribers. With your help, it absolutely can get done. Let's continue on here and talk about the interior offensive line. They got Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, Graham Glasgow, Kayuda Owusika, and Christian Mahogany. I am 110% in agreement here. I agree. That's exactly who I got making it. We're going to go defensive ends. Aiden Hutchinson, Joshua Pascal, Marcus Davenport, John Kaminsky, James Houston. They don't got a good on here. I do have a good potentially making the roster. Other than that, pretty good list, right? Defensive tackle, Ali McNeil, DJ Reader, Levi Nwuzurike, Broderick Martin, and Mekhi Wingo. I concur. I think all of them make the roster, and that's pretty easy. That's a pretty easy one to go over. Let's go to linebackers. Another really, really easy one. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maben. I have them all making the roster. I agree with them 110%. Cornerback, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, Emmanuel Mosley, Ennis Rakestraw, Khalil Dorsey. They got Stephen Gilmore making this roster. Now, first off, I would love that. I don't have him making the roster. It would probably be over Dan Skipper, for that extra roster spot. That would be where I go. But in all honesty, if Gilmore made it, I'm not going to be upset. I really do like him. And I don't have Kindle Vildor making it as well. Next here, safety, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Futu Melfanu, and CJ Moore. Exactly what I have right there in concur. And they got Jack Fox. Michael Badgley is the kicker, Scott Daly. So I have Jake Bates making it. He has Michael Badgley, but you want to know it, like I said, this is a 51-49% battle. It can go either way, so I'm not upset with that assessment from Jeremy Reisman. Pretty good. I think we're pretty much in agreement at 99%. Maybe one difference here when it comes to wide receiver 5 or 6 and tight end 4 when only got tight end 3. So pretty good. Who do you got making the roster? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With this said, folks, adios.